The rain hammered against the window like 1,000 tiny fists, but it was the creak of the fire escape that shattered the silence first. Edward's silhouette filled the doorway, his soaked shirt clinging to his chest, eyes wild with something between desperation and desire. "Alex," he whispered, voice breaking like thunder, "I can't pretend anymore. I'm in love with you, and it's killing me." I froze in the dim glow of my laptop screen, the cursor blinking mockingly on a half-finished email to my boss about yet another deadline I'd blown. The apartment smelled of stale coffee and regret, the kind that seeps into the walls of a one-bedroom in Brooklyn where dreams go to die. My heart slammed against my ribs as Edward stepped inside, dripping water onto the worn hardwood floor, his gaze locking onto mine like he'd been carrying this confession across oceans. It had started innocently enough, or so I'd told myself. 3 months ago, I'd moved into this crumbling walk-up on Atlantic Avenue, fleeing the ghost of Ronald, my ex, the golden boy from college who'd promised forever and delivered heartbreak. Ronald with his easy smile and Wall Street ambitions, who'd whispered sweet nothings in the dark until the day he ghosted me for a promotion that demanded discretion. Gay in America, I learned early, meant navigating minefields, the judgmental stares in dive bars, the family dinners where dad cracked jokes about real men, the apps that turned connection into a swipe-right transaction. Edward lived next door, a freelance photographer in his late 20s, all lean muscle and quiet intensity, with tattoos snaking up his arms like secrets etched in ink. We'd bonded over shared walls, his late-night shutter clicks syncing with my insomnia-fueled typing sessions. A nod in the hallway turned into borrowed sugar, then beers on the stoop, laughing about the hipsters pricing us out of the neighborhood. He never pushed, never pried, but there was always this undercurrent, a spark in his hazel eyes when our hands brushed passing a six-pack. Tonight, though, the storm outside mirrored the one brewing in him. He shut the door behind him with a soft click, the rain's roar muffling the world. "I saw the light on," he said, running a hand through his drenched hair. Water trailed down his neck, disappearing into the collar of his shirt. "Figured you were up, wrestling demons like always." I swallowed hard, my throat dry despite the humidity. "Edward, what the hell? It's after midnight. You can't just..." "I know." He crossed the room in 2 strides, close enough that I could smell the ozone on his skin, mixed with that faint cedar cologne that haunted my dreams. "But I can't sleep. Haven't slept right since that night on the roof. When you told me about Ronald, about how he made you feel like you weren't enough, the memory hit like a gut punch. 2 weeks ago, under a blanket of stars interrupted by drone lights, I'd spilled it all. The late-night fights, the way Ronald's love felt like a loan with interest, repaid in humiliation when he chose his career over us." Edward had listened, his arms slung casually over my shoulders, thumb tracing lazy circles that sent shivers I pretended to ignore. "You're more than enough, Alex," he'd murmured then, voice low and steady. "You're the whole damn world to someone who sees you." Now, those words hung between us, amplified. My pulse thundered in my ears. "Edward, you're my friend. My neighbor. This isn't just friendship." He reached out, fingers grazing my jaw, calloused from camera grips but gentle as a whisper. "Not for me. Hasn't been since the first time you smiled at me like I was the only guy in the room." I jerked back, not because I didn't want it, God. I did, but because wanting it terrified me. Ronald's betrayal had carved hollows in me, places where trust used to live. "You don't know what you're asking. I'm a mess. fresh off a breakup that's still bleeding. His eyes darkened, not with anger, but with that raw vulnerability that made my chest ache. Then let me help staunch the wound. I've been waiting, Alex, watching you rebuild brick by brick. And every time you falter, it guts me. The room shrank, the air thick with unspoken histories. Outside, lightning cracked, illuminating his face in stark relief. High cheekbones shadowed, lips parted as if tasting the storm. I wanted to pull him close, to drown in the warmth I'd glimpsed in stolen moments. The way he'd fixed my leaky faucet with a wink, or shared his grandmother's apple pie recipe over wine-fueled confessions about growing up queer in a Texas oil town, where coming out meant choosing between family and self. But fear is a cruel anchor. What if it's just the rain talking, the loneliness? He laughed, a soft, broken sound. Loneliness? Alex, I've been lonely my whole life. This is clarity. The kind that hits like a freight train. Before I could respond, he closed the gap, his mouth crashing into mine with the force of pent-up longing. It wasn't gentle. It was survival, lips salty from rain and tears I hadn't noticed falling. My hands fisted in his wet shirt, pulling him nearer even as my mind screamed warnings. His tongue traced the seam of my lips, coaxing, pleading, and I opened for him, tasting thunder and home. We stumbled back against the kitchen counter, the edge biting into my spine, but pain was secondary to the fire igniting in my veins. Edward's hands roamed, down my sides, under my tee, mapping scars Ronald had left invisible but deep. "Tell me to stop," he gasped against my neck, teeth grazing skin. "Say the word, and I walk." But the word wouldn't come. Instead, I yanked his shirt over his head, exposing the canvas of his body, ribs etched with a quote from Whitman. "I am large, I contain multitudes," and the steady thrum of his heart under my palm. We moved like we'd rehearsed it, shedding clothes in a trail from kitchen to bedroom, the storm our only witness. In the tangle of sheets, he was reverent, every touch a vow. Fingers interlacing as he entered me slowly, eyes never leaving mine, whispering my name like a prayer. "Alex." God, Alex. Climax built like the tempest outside, crashing over us in waves that left us shuddering, bent, entwined. Afterward, as rain softened to a patter, he traced patterns on my chest. No regrets. I hesitated, the high fading into the familiar chill of doubt. "Not yet." "But Edward." "Ronald called today. Wants to meet. Says he made a mistake." His body tensed against mine. "And I don't know." Honesty slipped out unbidden. Part of me still wonders what if. Edward pulled away slightly, propping on an elbow, his expression a mask cracking at the edges. Wonders? After what he did? It's not that simple. I sat up, sheets pooling around my waist. He was my first everything. The betrayal doesn't erase that. Silence stretched, heavy as the humid air. Finally, he nodded, voice strained. "I get it. But don't let him drag you back into the dark. Alex, you've got light here." He gestured between us, a fragile bridge. We fell asleep like that, limbs overlapping, but dawn brought clarity's cruel light. Edward slipped out before my alarm, leaving a note on the fridge. "Coffee at 8, let's talk about us." Smudged ink, like his fingerprints on my soul. Work dragged, copy editing drudgery at a midtown publisher, where my cubicle overlooked the Hudson, a river that flowed indifferent to human heartache. By noon, my phone buzzed. Ronald. Hey, stranger. Drinks tonight? Miss you. Our fingers hovering. I typed back, sure. 7 at the rusty nail? Then deleted. Retyped. Hit send. Guilt twisted like a knife, but curiosity or masochism won. Edward texted mid-afternoon. Stood up, or just ghosting? Playful, but edged with insecurity. Meeting a friend after work. Rain check. The ellipsis danced for an eternity. Whoever it is, they better deserve you. Ouch. I pocketed the phone, burying myself in revisions, but Ronald's shadow loomed. The rusty nail was a dive-off bleaker, all sticky floors and neon signs flickering like false promises. Ronald waited at the bar, looking every bit the finance bro, crisp button-down, hairstyled just so, that dimpled smile that once melted me. Alex, he said, standing to hug me, cologne sharp and familiar. You look good. Life treating you okay? We ordered whiskeys, the burn loosening tongues. He dove in quick. Apologies polished like his loafers. Tales of epiphany during a weekend in the Hamptons. I was scared, babe. The firm's all suits and secrets. But losing you? Worst mistake of my life, babe. The words slithered under my skin, stirring embers I'd thought cold. You chose them over me, Ron. Ghosted like I was nothing. He winced, genuine or not. I know. Let me make it right. Dinner tomorrow? My place. I sipped, stalling. Edward's face flashed. Tender, unguarded. There's someone. Ronald's brow arched, surprise morphing to something sharper. New guy? That fast? Not fast. Real. The word felt solid, anchoring. He leaned in, voice dropping. Be careful, Alex. Hearts rebound weird. Remember us? We were fire. Fire that scorched. I thought, but nodded vaguely. We parted with a hug that lingered too long, his hand on my lower back a ghost of old habits. Back home, the hallway light buzzed. Edward's door cracked open. Rough night. I leaned against the frame, exhaustion heavy. Old flames die hard. He pulled me inside without a word. His apartment a mirror of mine but warmer. Photos pinned to walls, capturing Brooklyn's grit and grace. We sank onto his couch, his arm around me, head on his shoulder. Tell me. So I did, words tumbling like rain. He listened, fingers combing my hair, until I trailed off. You're not mad. Mad? Terrified. Honesty again. His specialty. But I trust you to choose light. That night, we made love slower, mapping each other with intention, as if etching permanence. Whispers of futures, road trips to the Grand Canyon, lazy Sundays in bed wove through moans. For the first time since Ronald, I believed in tomorrows. But dawn brought Ronald's text. Found something you left behind. Come get it? Tonight. Attached. A photo of my favorite mug, chipped from our first fight. Guilt gnawed. Edward stirred beside me. Everything okay? Yeah. I lied, kissing his temple. Just work. Lies. The first crack in our foundation. Days blurred into a tentative rhythm. Mornings with Edward's coffee, strong and black like his humor. Evenings tangled in sheets, bodies learning languages of touch. He showed me his darkroom, negatives swirling like dreams, and I read him passages from my half-finished novel, a queer odyssey through American heartlands. Yet Ronald's messages persisted, subtle at first, then insistent. Thinking of you. Remember that trip to Provincetown? Each ping a siren call to the past. One evening, post-shift, caved. His loft in Chelsea gleamed with success. Skyline views, abstract art screaming money. He poured scotch, eyes gleaming. Missed this, he said, clinking glasses. We really talked for hours. Laughter bubbled up, old jokes resurfacing. When his knee brushed mine, electricity sparked, traitorous. One kiss, he murmured, leaning in. For old times, I pulled back, but not before his lips ghosted mine. Ron. No. Come on. Alex. Edward. He's rebound. Safe. The word stung, because part of me wondered. You don't know him. I know you. His hand on my thigh. Insistent. And I know we fit. I fled at midnight. Heart pounding. Mug forgotten. Edward's light was on. I knocked, collapsing into his arms when he opened the door. What happened? Tears came then, hot and unbidden. I saw him. Almost. God, I'm sorry. He held me tighter. No judgment. Hey, it's okay. Past isn't present, but in his eyes, doubt flickered, a seed planted. Weeks passed, our bond deepening amid autumn's chill. We carved pumpkins on his stoop, innards spilling like guts, laughing until breathless. He met my sister via video call, charming her with Texas drawl. I tagged along to his gallery show, pride swelling as strangers praised his lens on queer joy, couples kissing in Central Park, trans kids at pride parades. Yet shadows lengthened. Ronald's betrayal call came during a stakeout photo gig Edward dragged me to, capturing street artists in the village. My phone vibrated. Tell Edward hi from the guy who knows your birthmark. A photo attached, intimate, from our shared past. Rage boiled. How? I'd never shared details. Unless. No. Impossible. But unease festered. That night, over takeout lo mein, I probed gently. Ever talk to mutual friends about me? Edward paused. Chopsticks midway. Like who? Ronald's circle. You know, overlapping from college. He set down the sticks. Expression guarded. Once or twice. Why? Just. He sent something today. Personal. His jaw tightened. What did he say? I showed him, the air icing over. Edward's face paled. Shit. Alex. You what? The question hung. Accusatory. I ran into his roommate at a bar last month. Mentioned you in passing. Didn't think. Passing? That's my privacy. Edward. Hurt flashed in his eyes. I was proud of us. Of you moving on. Proud enough to feed the wolf at the door? We argued then. Voices rising like the wind outside. Words weapons, trust, vulnerability, fear. He stormed out, door slamming, leaving me with cold noodles and colder regret. Morning brought apology texts from both. His, I fucked up. Coffee? Ronald's, we need to talk. Now. I chose Edward. Meeting at our diner haunt. Vinyl booths scarred like our hearts. I'm sorry, we chorused, then laughed, tension fracturing. Over eggs, we vowed transparency. But Ronald's shadow loomed, his final gambit brewing. The betrayal hit like a sucker punch on a crisp November evening, the kind where New York streets smell of chestnuts and impending frost. I just wrapped a brutal day at the office, redlining a manuscript that bled cliches, when Edward called, voice laced with urgency. Alex, meet me at the pier. Pier 17. Now. It's important. Curiosity overrode exhaustion. The East River Walk was alive with holiday lights twinkling prematurely. Families bundled against the bight, laughter echoing off the water. Edward waited by the railing, collar upturned, breath fogging in the dusk. His face, usually open as a book, was etched with strain. "What's going on?" I asked, pulling him into a hug that smelled of darkroom chemicals and worry. He handed me a manila envelope, fingers trembling. "Open it." Inside, printouts of emails, timestamps glaring like indictments. From Ronald to Edward, dated weeks back. "Hey man, Alex mentioned you. Drinks? Let's chat about him." Followed by threads dissecting my flaws, my clinginess, my trust issues, laced with barbs about Edward being just a phase. My stomach plummeted. "You knew?" Edward shook his head, vehement. "No." His roommate forwarded these. Said Ronald's been playing games, trying to sabotage us. He hacked my email or something. Goddamn finance bros and their tech. Rage surged, hot and blinding. Ronald, with his ivy polish and ruthless climb, weaponizing jealousy into digital knives. Why? To win me back, or destroy you for saying no. Edward's arm circled my waist, steadying. But look at the last one. He admits it, sent it to the wrong thread, thinking it was his buddy. The email. "Alex thinks he's over me, but I'll remind him. Edward's out by week's end. Watch." Ice replaced fury. "He threatened you?" Edward nodded grimly. "Figured it'd scare you into his arms." Classic manipulator shit. We stood there, wind whipping, as the city skyline mocked our turmoil, Empire State glowing like a beacon of unattainable dreams. Tears pricked, not for Ronald's venom, but for the fragility of what we'd built. "I'm so sorry," I whispered. "For doubting. For letting him in." Edward turned me to face him, thumbs brushing tears. "Hey, this isn't on you. This is poison. But us, we're antidote." We kissed then, salt and steel, reclaiming the night. Walked home hand in hand, plotting confrontation. No more running. Ronald agreed to meet at neutral ground, Washington Square Arch, where we'd picnicked in college. Autumn leaves carpeting the paths like confetti from happier lies. He arrived punctual, Burberry coat slung over one arm, smile faltering at our linked hands. "Edward," he said coolly, ignoring me. "Didn't expect an audience." "Get used to it," Edward shot back, stance protective. I thrust the printouts at him. "Explain." His eyes scanned, color draining. "Alex, it's not. Bullshit." Voice steady, surprising myself. "You hacked him? Spread lies? For what? Ego?" Ronald's mask cracked, desperation bleeding through. "I loved you. Love you still." He was a rebound, a distraction. "I wanted you to see that. Love," Edward scoffed. "That's control, not love." Ronald rounded on him. "And you? Some shutterbug squatting in Brooklyn, playing hero. Alex needs stability, not your bohemian fantasy." The barb landed, stirring my old insecurities. Edward's art career teetered, gigs sporadic, dreams deferred, while Ronald embodied the American success myth, ladder climbing, corner office gleam. But I stepped forward, severing the tether. "You don't get to define me, Ron. Not anymore. We're done." his face crumpled, boyish vulnerability peeking through the facade. Please. Give me a chance to. No. Final. Like a door locking. Hurt people. But I'm choosing healing. We left him there, amid arch shadows and buskers strumming folk tunes, his figure shrinking in the rear view of our resolve. Back home, euphoria mixed with ache. Edward poured wine. We toasted to closures. To us, he said, clinking glasses. Multitudes and all, laughter led to lips, to bed, where we explored with renewed fervor, his mouth on my collarbone, my nails raking his back, gasps sinking like heartbeats. In the afterglow, he confessed dreams, a cross-country photo book, queer stories from sea to shining sea. Come with me, my novel, half-formed, yearned for roads untraveled. Yes, winter crept in, blanketing Brooklyn in hush. We decorated our fire escape with strings of lights, tiny rebels against the cold. Holiday markets buzzed, mulled cider, handmade ornaments shaped like intertwined hands. Edward's gift to me, a leather-bound journal, first page inscribed, for the stories only you can tell. Mine to him, a vintage camera lens, scouted from a pawn shop, symbol of focus amid blur. But peace fractured on Christmas Eve. A knock insistent, frantic. Ronald, snow-dusted, eyes red-rimmed. Alex, please. 5 minutes. Edward hovered in the kitchen, jaw set, but I waved him back. What? He thrust a flash drive. Evidence. Against the firm. They're laundering. Big time. I need your help. You're a writer, discreet. Suspicion flared. Why me? Why now? Because you're the only one I trust. Voice cracking. And because I miss you. Every day. Pity stirred. Unbidden. The boy I'd loved once. Now unraveling under corporate weight. Ron. This is insane. Go to the cops. Can't. They're connected politicians. Donors. If it leaks wrong, I'm dead. Drama queen. We're desperate. Edward appeared. Arm around me. Time's up, buddy. Merry Christmas. Ronald's gaze lingered. Wounded. You'll regret this. Then gone. Swallowed by flurry. That night, as Bing Crosby crooned on the radio, doubt nagged. Edward sensed it, pulling me close by the tree we'd half-assed with tinsel. He's a hurricane, Alex. You'll get swept if you open the door. I know, but sleep evaded. Visions of Ronald's plea looping. New Year's dawned crisp. Resolutions whispered over mimosas. Edward booked a cabin upstate. Catskills escape. Wood smoke and starlight. We drove north. City fading in the mirror. Radio blasting Springsteen anthems of blue-collar hearts. The cabin was rustic charm. Stone fireplace. Loft bed overlooking pines. We arrived to snow falling soft. World muffled. Inside, he built a fire while I unpacked, the crackle underscoring our quiet joy. That night, under quilts, we made slow love by firelight. His whispers in my ear, "You're my North Star," my hands memorizing the dip of his spine. Orgasm crested gentle, like waves on a calm shore, leaving us sated, souls aligned. Days blurred. Hikes through crunching trails. Snow angels like children rediscovering wonder. One afternoon, trudging back rosy-cheeked, Edward dropped to one knee in the drifts. Not a ring, a Polaroid of us from the pier, edges frayed. Marry me? Not today, But someday, when life's ready, tears froze on lashes. Yes, God, yes. Euphoria peaked, then crashed. Back in Brooklyn, the flash drive waited, slipped under my door while we were gone. Note attached, last chance. Save me. I deleted the files unseen, but the seed of curiosity rooted. Edward noticed my distraction over dinner. Thai takeout, basil chicken steaming. What's eating you? Nothing. Lie again, bitter on tongue. His eyes narrowed. Ronald. Silence damned me. He pushed plate away. Alex, don't. It's not. I threw it out. But you're wondering. Hurt-laced words. After everything? I care, Edward. About the person he was. And that's the problem. He stood, chair scraping. I'm not your redemption project. The fight erupted, words flying like embers. My unresolved baggage. His impatience. You think love erases history? I shouted. It builds on it, he countered. But you're still chained. He left for the darkroom, door clicking shut. Paced, phone in hand, dialing Ronald before sanity returned. Voicemail, it's me. Talk tomorrow. Neutral ground, regret instant, but irreversible. We met at a midtown cafe, neutral as Switzerland, steam rising from lattes like unspoken tensions. Ronald looked haggard, stubble shadowing jaw, eyes hollow. You came. Talk. The flash drive spilled horrors. Spreadsheets of offshore accounts. Emails implicating execs in laundering for cartels. If this drops right, takes them down. But I need a ghostwriter, anonymous piece for a blog, timed with leaks. Why me? Suspicion thick. Because you see stories in people. And because I need you, hand over mine, pleading. One last time, the touch ignited old flames. Treacherous. Edward, forget him. This is bigger. Justice. America's underbelly. Corruption masked as capitalism. Queers like us collateral in power plays. Temptation tugged. Hero's role. Closure through exposure. I'll think. His smile. Grateful. Thank you. Home. Edward waited. Arms crossed. You saw him. Confession tumbled. He's in deep. Asking for help. And you want to give it. Statement. Not question. It's right. Edward. No. It's him pulling strings. Voice rose. Choose. Alex. Us or his chaos. The ultimatum landed like a slap. That's not fair. Life isn't. He grabbed coat. I'm out. Until you decide. Door slammed. Echo deafening. Alone. I plugged in the drive. Screens glowing accusatory. Files detailed depravity. Millions funneled. Lives ruined. Ronald's notes. For Alex. Are shot at truth. Tears blurred code. Love. Or duty. Past. Or future. Midnight found me at Edward's door. Knocking soft. No answer. Panic clawed. I called voicemail. Texted. I choose us. Come home. Silence. Dawn broke gray. A knock, Edward. Disheveled. Smelling of cheap motel. Couldn't sleep. We collapsed into bed. Apologies unspoken. Bodies bridging gaps. I almost lost you, he murmured. Inside me, thrusts deep and forgiving. Never, I gasped, arching. Release came fierce, binding. But Ronald's call shattered morning. Decided, yes, steel in voice. But not for you. For the truth. I'll write it anonymous. Then we're done. Relief flooded him. Thank you. Meet tonight? My place. To brief. Edward, overhearing, stiffened. No. Here. Neutral. Compromise struck. That evening, in our living room, Ronald arrived with laptop, fax tumbling. Edward observed, sentinel silent. Tension crackled, but professionalism held. By 2 a.m., draft outlined, exposé sharp as a scalpel. Ronald lingered at door. Proud of you, Alex. Go. Edward's tone brooked no argument. Alone, we exhaled. It's over, I said. Edward pulled me close. Hope so, but seeds of doubt, once sown, sprout insidious. Spring teased Brooklyn with reluctant blooms, cherry blossoms tentative against concrete, mirroring the fragile thaw in our lives. The exposé dropped anonymously on a whistleblower site, ripples spreading like ink in water. Within days, headlines screamed, Wall Street scandal, laundering ring exposed. Ronald vanished, whisked to protective custody, whispers of witness deals floating through mutual contacts. Guilt gnawed at me, a low hum under the high of vindication. Edward noticed, of course, his photographer's eye missing nothing. You're brooding, he said one morning, flipping pancakes in our shared kitchen, domestication creeping in, keys exchanged, toothbrushes side by side. Just wondering if I damned him, syrup drizzled, sweet masking bitter. You freed him, fork paused midway. From his own cage. That's mercy, his optimism, a bomb. We leaned into normalcy. Weekend brunches at Juliana's, pizza grease on chins, debating Scorsese films till closing. His gallery show loomed urban echoes, queer New York, and I proofed his artist statement, words weaving vulnerability into art. Nerves jangled opening night, Soho loft pulsing with glitterati and grinders. Edward, in slim black jeans and button-up rolled to elbows, inked arms on display, mingled with charismatic ease. I hovered, imposter in khakis, nursing a gin and tonic. Alex, a familiar voice sliced. My sister, Mia, sweeping in with her wife, Lena. Hugs fierce. Champagne popped. He cleans up nice, Mia teased, nodding at Edward across the room, charming a critic. Pride swelled. Yeah. He does. Later, under gallery lights soft on his photos, me, candid in bedhead glow, unknowing subject, Edward found me. Nervous, terrified you'll eclipse me, half joke, half truth. He cupped my face, thumb on lip. Never. You're my muse. Remember. Kiss stolen, deepening till catcalls rose. Laughter bubbled, world narrowing to us. Success buzzed, sales tallied, reviews raved. We celebrated atop his roof. City sprawl at feet, bottle of you've shared. To echoes, he toasted. To us, bubbles tickled nose, his hand warm on thigh. Fever built slow, rooftop chill no match for heat. Clothes shed layer by layer, skin bared to stars. He laid me back on a blanket, mouth trailing fire from throat to navel, tongue circling hip bone. Beautiful, he breathed, taking me in literally, inch by inch, eyes locked in worship. I bucked, fingers in his hair, release coiling tight. Edward, fuck, come for me, command soft, obeyed explosive. He followed, spilling with a groan. collapsing atop, hearts hammering duet. Post-bliss, dreams murmured, my novel querying agents, his book pitched to publishers. California, he suggested. LA for shoots, you writing by the beach, tempting, but roots tugged, Brooklyn's pulse, Mia's proximity. Then, fracture. A letter arrived, postmarked nondescript. Ronald's scrawl, safe. Thanks for the lifeline. But you owe me. Meet, Central Park, Bethesda Fountain. Alone. Edward, reading over shoulder, crumpled it. Hell no. It's closure, plea-edged voice. Or trap, I stormy. He's poison. Alex. He's human, counter soft. Flawed. Like us. Argument simmered. Unresolved. I went alone. Spring sun mocking with warmth. Fountain burbled. Tourists milling. Ronald emerged from willows. Gaunt but groomed. Suit hanging loose. You look happy. I am. Guarded. Good. Smile wry. Deserve it. Why here? Why now? Loose ends. He handed a USB. More files. Insurance. In case they come for me. Paranoia prickled. Cops have you covered. Not from everything. Gaze dropped. Not from regret. Air thickened. Ron. I know. Edward's the one. Pause heavy. But if it crashes? You'll catch me? The ask. Vulnerable. Cracked armor. I can't promise that. Nod resigned. Fair. Then, impulsive. He hugged me brief. Bone-crushing. Love you. Always. The real kind. He melted into crowd, leaving me adrift. Home. Edward waited, arms open despite tension. Okay. Yeah. Lie half true. We made love that night. Urgent. Reclaiming territory. His thrusts possessive. My moans affirmations. But in quiet after, USB burned in pocket. Weeks later, storm broke. Edward's phone rang during dinner, unknown number. He answered, face draining. What? No, how? Hung up, eyes on me accusatory. Your ex. Again. What? Journalist friend tipped. Ronald named you in a deposition. Said you coerced the leak. Firms suing for defamation. Conspiracy. Horror iced veins. That's insane. I was anonymous. Not anymore. Voice edged hurt. He outed you to save his ass. Betrayal. Double-edged. Ronald. Twisting salvation into noose. My career, precarious freelance, teetered. Whispers of scandal could blacklist. Edward paced. We fight it. Together, but fear whispered division. Nights, I tossed. Visions of courtrooms. Judgmental stares reviving old wounds. High school lockers scrawled with slurs. Dad's silence at my coming out. Edward held me through it. But strain showed late nights editing photos. Smiles strained. You blame me? I asked one dawn. Sheets tangled. Blame him. Kiss forehead. Not you. Litigation loomed. Lawyers consulted on retainers we couldn't afford. Mia rallied. Lena's firm pro bono scouting. Solidarity knit us tighter. Or so I thought. Climax crested Memorial Day weekend. Humidity thick as unresolved grief. Edward proposed a getaway Jersey Shore. Boardwalk nostalgia. We drove. Windows down. Bruce on blast. Salt air promising reset. The motel was kitsch. Neon sign buzzing ocean view. Room overlooking dunes. We arrived laughing. unpacking suits for sand. Race you, he challenged, stripping to trunks. Waves crashed cool, bodies colliding in surf. Splashes turned to grapples, his arms pinning me under foam. Gotcha. Lips met salty, hands roaming wet. We stumbled to shallows, water lapping thighs as he entered me from behind, waves sinking thrusts. Love you, growled in ear, pace building relentless. Climax shattered, cries lost to roar. We floated after, buoyant. Evening bonfire on beach, embers dancing. Marshmallows roasted, stories swapped. His Texas summers chasing fireflies, my Midwest winters building forts. Vulnerability flowed easy. Then, his phone lit, text from unknown. He glanced, paled. Shit. What? Ronald. Out on bail. Says he's coming for us. Panic surged. How? Why? Revenge. Voice hollow. Deposition was partial, he held back. To leverage. Betrayal's full bloom. Not just outing, but vendetta. Ronald. Scorned lover turned nemesis. Weaponizing system against us. Edward stood. Sand kicking. We run, or fight? Fight. Resolve hardened. But together, night deepened, fire dying. In bed, we clung. Sex tender, slow grinds, whispers of endurance. Sleep came fitful, dreams of pursuits. Dawn brought clarity. Call me a fortify legal. But as Edward showered, my phone buzzed. Ronald, see you soon. With proof you're mine. Chill unrelated to see. Proof? What madness. Edward emerged. Towel low. Plan. Lawyers first. Kiss fierce. Then, we end this. Drive home tense. Radio off. Brooklyn welcomed gray. Storm clouds gathering literal. Apartment door ajar, impossible. Heart seized. Inside. Chaos. Drawers rifled. Photos slashed us. Happy. Now gashes of red marker. He was here. Edward's voice broke. Not just revenge violation. Police called. Report filed. But impotence raged. Fingerprints? None. Message scrawled on mirror. Choose or lose. Terror genuine now. Edward installed locks. Eyed shadows. Love, once sanctuary, felt siege. Yet, in crisis, we deepened, cooking meals methodical, bedtime stories of futures unscarred. One night, post-nightmare wake, he held me. Marry me tomorrow? Courthouse quickie, laughter amid tears. Yes, but Ronald's specter stalked. Anonymous tips to press. My name linked to scandal. Freelance gigs drying. Edward's shows cancelled. Associations risky. Isolation crept. Us against world. Culmination brewed. His trial date set. Summons for me as witness. Confrontation inevitable. Edward begged. Let lawyers handle. No. Steal. I face him. Court day dawned muggy. Federal building imposing. Hallways echoed footsteps. Suits starched. Ronald, shackled brief, met my gaze across gallery, pleading, then hardening. Testimony mine. Anonymous intent. No coercion. His cross. You loved me once. Why destroy? Love doesn't destroy. Voice steady. You did that. Jury deliberated days. Tension coiling. Edward waited outside daily. Hand squeezes lifelines. Verdict. Guilty on lesser counts. Laundering ring crumbling. Ronald sentenced light. Probation. Fine. But eyes on me final. Broken. Unrepentant. Relief flooded. But hollow. Outside. Edward enveloped. Over. Finally. Summer solstice. We wed courthouse simple. Mia witnessing. Rings silver bands engraved multitudes. Vows exchanged soft. In shadows and light. Honeymoon. Road trip west. Novel in trunk. Camera loaded. Badlands to Big Sur. Landscapes mirroring souls rugged. Resilient. One night. Grand Canyon rim. Stars vast. We made love intent. Earth steady under. His body arching. Mine enveloping. Union cosmic. Back east. Scars faded. Book deals landed, his photos. My words intertwined. Ronald? Distant echo. Therapy unraveling his knots. Humanity's grace. Forgiveness not for him, but us. Love. American as apple pie and protest marches. Endured. Yet endurance tests in crucibles, and ours reignited autumn's forge. A year post-wedding, Brooklyn softened into familiarity. Our walk-up now home. Walls hung with Edward's prints. Shelves bowed under my published novel's weight. Echoes of us. A semi-autobiographical tale of queer love's labyrinth. Dedicated to E. My anchor and sail. Success whispered. Readings in indie bookstores. His exhibitions touring. But prosperity bred envy. Or so the email claimed. Anonymous. Subject. Truth behind the facade. Attachments. Screenshots of texts. Mine to Ronald during dark days. Pleading for mercy. Please. Stop. I still care. Pulled from ether. Timed post-verdict. Panic clawed. How? Deleted. Or so thought. Edward. Reading beside. Went still. You never told me this. After the break-in. I was scared. Scared enough to text him? Hurt layered accusation. While I changed locks, it was one message. Desperate. Desperation's fine. Secrecy, that's the knife. He stood, pacing. After everything, you hid. Guilt, old companion, surged. I protected us. Or yourself. Voice cracked. From choosing fully, argument escalated. Words excavating graves. My lingering shadows. His fear of inadequacy. You think I'm like him? Edward hurled. Second best. No. Denial fierce. You're everything. Then act it. Door didn't slam. Clicked. Final. He crashed at a friend's. Darkroom exile. I wandered apartment ghosted. Mirrors mocking solitude. Mia called. Fix it. Love's not passive. Wisdom landed. Next dawn. I drove to his studio Bushwick warehouse. Graffiti veiled. Door ajar. Chemical tang biting. Inside. Edward hunched over in larger. Red light bathing face in hellish glow. Go away. Alex. No. Steeled. We talk. He emerged. Apron stained. What's left? Trust's fractured. Then we mend. Hands on his. I should have shared. Fear made me small. I searched. Softening. I pushed too. Insecurity's my demon. Confession bridged. We kissed amid trays. Solution bitter on tongues. Back home. Therapy booked, couples. Individual unpacking Ronald's residue. Healing hummed. Sessions raw. Revelations cathartic. Edward admitted jealousy of my history. I owned codependency's pull. Progress tangible. Date nights intentional. Vulnerability practiced. Winter solstice brought surprise. Edward's gift. Custom camera strap embroidered hours. Mine. Manuscript draft. Sequel weaving our road trip into fiction. Holidays with Mia's brood. Niece's shrieking carols. Lena's lax grounded us. New Year's. Rooftop with neighbors. Countdown to midnight. His kiss at 0. Promise renewed. But life's script twists. Spring. Edward's editor called. Book deal expanded. Cross-country tour. Interviews heavy. Come, he asked. Novel sequel due. Deadlines loomed. Can't. But I'll fly out weekends. Strain subtle. Time zones stretched. Calls clipped by exhaustion. Texts piled. Miss you. Crowd loved the reading. Mine proud. Chapter 7 done. One night, post-signing in San Francisco, video call lit his hotel face. Flushed. Alive. Wish you here. City's queer heart beats loud. Envy flickered. Irrational. Beats Brooklyn's. Laughter. Nothing beats home. Tour dragged summer. Distance amplifying fissures. Mia noticed at barbecue. You okay? Distant. Jet lag. Deflection weak. Truth. Emails from publisher. Glowing reviews. But whispers. Is the muse real? Or embellished? Fame's double edge. Scrutiny on our story. Edward home Labor Day. Tanned and tired. Airport reunion. Hug crushing. Cab ride hands clasped. Missed this. Home. Unpacking led to bed reunion fervent. His mouth mapping changes. Abs tighter from road miles. God. Alex. Inside. Rhythm reclaiming. Peak synced. Size sated. But post-glow. He confessed. Tour was lonely. Fans flirted, harmless. But jealous. Tease light. Wary. Honesty. Fame changes things. We vowed vigilance. But autumn leaves fell with omens. My reading in Boston overlapped his Chicago stop, separate cities. Shared ache. Then, the call? October fog. Phone buzzing 2 a.m. Unknown. Alex? It's Ronald. How? Doesn't matter. Voice altered. Ragged. Need help. Again. No. Flat. Listen. Firm's remnants, they're after me. Have proof you colluded. Deepfakes. Texts morphed. Paranoia redux. Cops. Corrupt. Edward's book? They'll smear it too. Leverage. Leave him out. Can't. Meet. Airport lounge. Tomorrow. Flying out. Hesitation fatal. Fine. Once. Edward. Stirring. Who? Wrong number. Like. Tombstone. Lounge sterile. Ronald huddled in corner booth. Hoodie shadowing eyes. Flash drive exchanged. Files grim. Doctored vids of me confessing fraud. Timestamps forged. This'll tank you both. His plea. Write a retraction. Blame me fully. Why should I? Because you owe. Gaze piercing. For loving me once. Pity. Or manipulation. It's done. Ron. Not if they win. Desperation peaked. Help. Or we all burn. I took drive. Fled. Home. Edward waited. Coffee brewing. Rough night. Nightmares. Partial truth. Days blurred. Files haunting laptop. Consulted lawyer. Fakes detectable. But damage viral potential. Edward's tour extension loomed. Europe add-on. Lucrative. Go, I urged. I'll handle. Doubt in eyes. Sure. Positive. He left Heathrow bound. Kiss lingering. Alone. isolation amplified. Nights, I drafted denial piece, words warring ethics. Then, leak, tabloid splash, queer authors X, collusion cover-up, doctored screenshot, my text to Ronald, we'll bury them together. Panic viral. Calls flooded. Agent furious. Mia worried. Edward's text. WTF? True? No. Fakes. Coming clean. His reply, need space. This chaos. Heart cracked. Airport run futile, he'd boarded. Europe tour. I followed Ghost. Reading solo. Audiences probing. Inspiration real? One asked. Real as heartbreak. Honest ache. Reunion Paris. Sane glittering. Hotel room. Tension thick. Why hide? He demanded. Bag dropped. Didn't. Feared burdening. Partners share burdens. Voice rose. This feels like Ronald 2.0. Stab accurate. I'm not. Are you sure? Doubt poisoned. Fight fractured. Accusations of secrecy. My clinging to past. He stormed to cafe. I wandered boulevards. Rain slicking tears. Dawn reconciliation. Cafe table. Croissants untouched. I overreacted. His hand extended. Scared of losing. Me too. Fingers laced. No more hides. Vow sealed over escargot dinners. Louvre lingers, winged victory mocking falls. Back stateside. PR blitz, joint statement. Forensics debunking fakes. Support surged, queer communities rallying. Podcasts interviewing our resilience. Winter healed. Therapy deepened. Boundaries redrawn. Holiday card from Ronald. Forwarded from old address. Won my case. Ghosts exorcised. Be happy. Closure tentative. New year. Resolution, family expansion. Adoption talks, fostering queer youth. Building legacy beyond pages. Spring bloomed hope. Edward's second book greenlit. My trilogy arc plotted. One evening. Fire escape perch. City humming below. Remember the rain? He murmured. Head on shoulder. First storm. Smile. Changed everything. For better. Kiss soft. Promise. But life's poetry rhymes uneasy. Summer solstice. Test positive, Edwards. Routine check. HIV, doctor said. Clinical. World tilted. Manageable, assured. Meds. Undetectable. Fear primal. Loss. Stigma revived. Home. Tears communal. We'll fight, I vowed. He nodded. Brave. Together. Regimen strict. Pills timed. Appointments synced. Support groups joined, queer positives. Stories shared. Humanity's core. Vulnerability binds. Sex evolved, gentle, present. Barriers shed with trust. His body familiar. Love undimmed. Fall. Book launches tandem. His resilient frames. Mine bridges unburned. Tours overlapped. Hands held podium side. One night. Chicago signing. Fan asked, how endure betrayal? Edward glanced me. By choosing grace. Daily. Audience applauded. Hearts full. Winter whispered permanence. Fostering license approved. First kid teen. Trans. Eyes wary, melted into hugs. Ronald faded myth. Lesson etched. Love's not possession, but release. Yet, in quiet, Edward confessed, scared sometimes. Of tomorrow. Then we meet it, arm around. Multitudes. Remember, Laughter. Yeah. America's vast. Coasts crashing. Heartlands humming. Queers carving space. Our story. Thread in tapestry. Dramatic. Emotional. Romantic. Human. As years wove onward, our tapestry frayed and mended, each thread a testament to persistence. By 35, Brooklyn felt like skin, familiar stretch marks from growth. The kid, Jamie, evolved from foster shadow to adopted light. Pronouns he/they. Sketches rivaling Edward's. Dreams of animation school. Family dinners chaotic. Spaghetti wars. Board games rigged. Filled voids once echoed with doubt. My trilogy concluded triumph. Echoes eternal. Finale's dedication for E.J. and the loves that outlast storms. Bestseller whispers turned roars. Film rights optioned, Hollywood calling. Ironic siren. Edward's lens sharpened. Documentary series. Queer across America. Road-tripping diners and drag shows. Jamie assisting camera shy. Kids got eye, he'd beam. Ruffling hair. Success scaled. Loft upgrade in Williamsburg. Views of bridges spanning divides. But affluence tested. Paparazzi flashes at readings. Trolls dissecting our perfect life. One crisp October. Scandal redux. Podcast host. Bitter ex of Ronald's. Alleged inside scoop. Twisted tales of our origins. Painting Edward as opportunist. Me as victim-turned-enabler. Clicks baited. Headlines howled. Deja vu stung. Joint interview booked. NPR calm. Hosts empathetic. Betrayals echo. I said on air. Edward's hand under table anchor. But we've built on ruins. Listeners resonated. Emails flooded. Stories mirroring. Queer loves besieged. Resilient rising. Book sales spiked. Ironically. Post-broadcast. Pub crawl cathartic. Dive bars. Darts thrown. Laughter reclaiming night. To echoes. Edward toasted. Pint raised. To silencing them. Home. Jamie asleep. We slipped to loft bed. City lights sentinel. Undressing slow. Reverent scars traced. His undetectable status a footnote to desire. Mouths explored. His on my inner thigh. Teasing till please. Entry mutual. Positions fluid. Top. Bottom. Equals. Climax cascaded. Bodies symphony. After. Whispers of legacy. Jamie college soon. Then. More kids. Or travels. Unscripted. Flexibility. Our gospel. Thanksgiving. Mia's table groaned abundance. Turkey carved. Lena's pies. Jamie's vegan revolt. Toast circled to survivals. To kin chosen. But Grace fractured Christmas Eve letter. Unmarked. Ronald's hand. Unmistakable cancer. Stage 4. Regrets heavier than chemo. One visit. For peace. Edward found me staring. Envelope limp. Him. Yeah. Throat tight. Go if you need. Magnanimous. Pained. But take me. No. Decision swift. This closes alone. Hospital sterile. Long Island sterile. Beeps monotonous. Air antiseptic. Ronald. Bedbound. Gaunt as specter. Chemo-ravaged. Eyes dulled but sharp. Alex. Whisper rasp. You came. Briefly. Chair pulled. Distance kept. Gratitude flickered. Look good. Happy. I am. Pause. Sorry about this. Shrug weak. Karma's bitch. Cough racked. Wanted to say you were right. Love releases. Tears his, not mine. Forgive. Already did. Truth. Freeing. For me. He nodded. Spent. Tell Edward. Respect. I will. Exit hallway blurred. Elevator descent symbolic. Call to Edward. Done. Peace. Real. Relief his exhale. Proud. Ronald past January. Obituary discreet. No scandals. Just man reclaimed. No service. Ashes scattered. Per will. At Provincetown, our old haunt. Funeral absent. But closure visited Bonfire Beach. Edward and I. Jamie toasting marshmallows. To letting go. Flames danced. Amen. Spring renewal. Jamie's animation acceptance. CalArts. Dreams launched. Send off tearful. Airport hugs bone deep. Call daily. Edward mandated. Promise. Empty nest echoed first weeks. But opportunity bloomed. Sabbaticals synced. Europe jaunt. Rome's ruins. Paris's patisseries. Hands wandered Colosseum shadows. Love timeless. One evening. Venetian gondola. Canal lapping. Edward knelt. Ring this time. Gold band etched Whitman. Someday snow. Renew? Vows? Here? Yes. Sobs joy. Forever. Ceremony intimate. Jamie video calling. Mia officiating virtual. Canal backdrop. Pledges poetic. In multitudes. I choose you. Honeymoon extended. Greek islands. Azure seas. Villas whitewashed. Bodies bronzed. Nights. Olive groves. Stars witnesses, his fingers inside. Prostate stroked expert. My reciprocal worship. Ecstasy unbridled. Love's language fluent. Return grounded. Writing residencies. His exhibits global. Jamie thrived. Visits brimming pride. Decade mark. Brooklyn block party. Neighbors toasting our dynasty. Grills smoking. Drag queens lip-syncing gaga. Edward pulled me to stoop. Ring glinting. Worth the storm. Every drop. Kiss public. Unapologetic. Aging graced. Lines crow's feet laughter. Gray's silver wisdom. Therapy lifer. Vulnerabilities voiced. Ronald's ghost. Benevolent now cautionary. Catalyst. Humanism's arc. Not perfection, but progress. Gay in America still battles. Rights ebbed. Bigots bayed, but loves like ours. Defiant beacons. Epilogue whispers. Memoir joint. Storms we dance through. Launch reading. Jamie illustrates cover, two figures. Rain-kissed. Embracing. Audience hushed. Then thunderous. Q&A. Advice for young queers? Edward. Feel deeply. Forgive fiercely. Me. Choose light. Always. After. Homeward. Hand in hand. Rain pattering gentle. Fire escape perch. City eternal. Nothing the same, Edward murmured, echoing that first night. Better. Forever.